only you knew who you were idolizing. The Lord dropped this thought into my spirit one night, and it got me to writing about the spiritual side to things and to people that we see in huge sums and amounts in media, whether it be on TikTok, the news, anything like that. There's always a spirit behind things, especially when we gauge consumption or people who do certain things, or we see them consume certain things in copious amounts. There's always something so spiritual about the people that we see that doesn't often get talked about, but in turn physically manifests itself somehow in us. And so I want us to take a moment and go through this exhortation with me. You let me know in the comments if you too have understood and have seen certain spirits within people. And yeah, I'd just love to have a conversation about it. Without further ado, this is my thought. We often think that the physical manifestation of someone's sin is overt because sometimes, most often than not, it is presented that way. However, the spirit behind them tells the story a bit differently, almost like how a puppeteer holds the strings to a puppet. We see the puppet, but we often don't acknowledge the mastermind, the one who is holding the strings to make this puppet and cause this puppet to perform, and to perform magnificently. Harmful spirits maneuver themselves in the exact same way. When we see someone, specifically as mukbangs are on the rise, I'm going to use this as an example, when we see people consuming copious amounts of food on their platform. So, for example, mukbangers and mukbangs have really started to shape entertainment, specifically on TikTok and other social media channels as well too. We're starting to see them more progressively, right? Oftentimes, as I've seen through comments, people will label them, these mukbangers, as gluttonous, or they have a gluttonous spirit. However, and not saying that that is not true, but speaking just a little bit deeper to this, sometimes people do not see the spirit that enables someone to act that way because, in some instances, their bodies have been misused and distorted from the maker's image. So we see someone consuming copious amounts of food, but we don't understand how they got there in the first place. Follow me? There is a hole the harmful spirit is acting and operating through that is making someone. We may think that the food that someone eats in copious amounts is filling this hole, but there's a spiritual side to that that makes it want to fill this hole even further. The root of many issues, not just talking about mukbangers, but everything from substance abuse to sleeping with multiple people to doing all these different things that we think is going to fill us, but truly never will. The root of most issues lie in these holes where we are instead of filling